benefit that you got from my rahmah. Did you get something? He said, yes, indeed, Ya Rasulullah. Yes, indeed. I was before you, have a fear from Allah, of Allah. Khawf min Allah. And if you really think about it, what happened to Iblis, the shaitan, who was one of the biggest scholars and worshipper, that he was elevated to reach the level of the angels. So it's like he is next to Sayyidina Jibreel. And then when Allah asked all the angels to make sujood to Sayyidina Adam, he said, no, I'm better than him. I'll not do sujood for him. Then he got the la'na. Then Sayyidina Jibreel, he knew that at any moment something might happen, you have the fear. This is the example. Then when Allah said, in the ayah said here, he described Sayyidina Jibreel, Allah in the Quran said, ذي قوة, have power, عند ذي العرش, with the owner of the throne, makin, like he's firm, muta', all the angels follow his order. ثم أمين, there's two meanings for ثم أمين here. The first one is that he trustworthy. Everything I give him, he gave it exactly as it is. Amana. Or Ameen, مأمون العاقبة. That means he will not have any fear. And in both cases, that makes Sayyidina Jibreel what? Relax. Because Allah will not praise him and say he's trustworthy and then he'll put in the hellfire like what happened to Iblis. So he said, Ya Rasulullah, when you became to this earth and the Quran reveals on you, I got my portion of rahmah. Wallahi, think about it. What's a question our Habib Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam will ask the angel, Sayyidina Jibreel, the highest angel, what was your portion of rahmah? Ajib. And then there was. And he told him. Subhanallah. So all of us, Irhamkumullah, all of us, we got a lot and a lot and a lot. The thing that we know is nothing comparing to the reality of the rahmah from Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. That what made all the prophets, they wish to be from this ummah. They wish, all of them, they wish to be from this ummah. Well, and then he said in the ayah, فَسَلَامُ لَكَ مِنْ أَصْحَابِ الْيَمِينِ. There is meaning that you may be translation that there is the people of the Yameen, people of the right, they greet you, salam. But the meaning here is saying that they were saved, people of the right, Ahlul Yameen, because of you. Salamun laka. For you, they get the shafa'ah. For you, they will not be asked. Because there is three groups of people. There is the sabiqun أولئك المقربون. The one who advanced, the worshippers of Allah, the lover of Allah, the lover of Rasulullah, the lover of Quran, the one who do ihsan, they are sabiqun أولئك المقربون. And there is ashab al-yamin. There is people of the right. They did something good, something bad, but they are believers. And there is ashab al-shimal, non-believer. So this one is already in advance. But this one, they got saved because of you. They got saved because of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. And the name of the book, Ash-shifa, this is a cure for the soul. Just knowing who is Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. What are we getting from him? This is by itself, it's a cure to the soul. Without knowing, things will happen inside. نعم يا حبيبي يا رسول الله صلوا على الحبيب قال الله تعالى أعوذ بالله الشيطان الله نور السماوات والأرض مثل نوره كمشكاة فيها مصباح المصباح في زجاجة الزجاجة كأنها كوكب دري يوقد من شجرة مباركة زيتونة لا شرقية ولا غربية يكاد زيتها يضيء ولو لم تمسسه نار نور على نور يهدي الله لنوره من يشاء ويضرب الله الأمثال للناس والله بكل شيء عليم. قال كعب وابن جبير المراد بالنور الثاني هنا محمد عليه الصلاة والسلام، سيدنا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم. وقوله تعالى مثل نوره أي نور محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم. وقال سهل بن عبد الله المعنى الله هادي أهل السماوات والأرض، ثم قال مثل نور محمد سيدنا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم إذ كان مستودعا في الأصلاب كمشكاة صفتها كذا، وأراد بالمصباح قلبه وبالزجاج صدره، أي كأنه كوكب دري لما فيه من الإيمان والحكمة يوقد من شجرة مباركة أي من نور إبراهيم. وضرب المثل بالشجرة المباركة وقوله يكاد زيتها يضيء، أي تكاد نبوة سيدنا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم تبين للناس قبل كلامه كهذا الزيت. وقد قيل في هذه الآية غير هذا والله أعلم. نعم سيدي كانت translation.
Allah says, Allah is the light of the heavens and the earth. The likeness of his light is like a niche wherein is a lamp. The lamp is a glass, the glass as if it were glittering, a star kindled from a blessed tree. And olive is neither of the east nor the west, whose oil would nearly shine, even no fire touched it. Light upon light. Allah guides to his light whoever he wills. Allah makes examples for people, and Allah has knowledge of everything. Kitab al-Abbar and Ibn Jabbar said, by the second light, he means Muhammad.
Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam.
Allah says the likeness of the light, meaning the light of Muhammad.
Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam.
Sa'ad ibn Abdullah al-Tustari said that it means that Allah is the guide of the people of the heavens and the earth. Then Saul said, like the light of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when it is lodged in the loins like a niche. By the lamp, he means his heart. The glass is the breast. It is as if were a glittering star because of the belief of wisdom it contains, kindled from a blessed tree, from the light of Ibrahim, who makes a companion with the blessed tree. And he says, its oil would nearly shine. Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam prophecy is almost evident to the people before he speaks, just like this oil. A lot more is said about the ayah, and Allah knows best what it means. Elsewhere in the Quran.
We stop here. Now, so this verse, there is a lot of mufassirin and a lot of the arifin and the awliya. They talked about this verse where it's described that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the source of guidance. Allah Nur samawat wal ard, the light of the heavens and earth. Everything you see on this, in this creation, is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Nur samawat wal ard. Now, in particular here, Al-Qadi Iyad is bringing the saying of Ka'b al-Ahbar wa Ibn Jubayr, where they said that the guidance is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But that guidance came through Nur. An example of this guidance is the light of Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So when he said Allah nuru samawati wal ard, mathalu nurihi, that means the light of Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That's what they're saying here in the meaning. And he said the meaning here that all guidance is from Allah, and then that light that will bring the complete guidance where in the moved from prophets to prophets, from men to men, min al-aslab, that from the back. That means the light of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam were moved from generation to generation. And when it said it's like a lamp, so that piece of a glass that you have the light in it, the glass here is the heart of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. No, the light is his heart, and his chest is the glass. That's what he's saying, the meaning. It's like a shining star. Why? Because it's filled with iman, belief, and wisdom. And it was lighted from a blessed tree. And the tree is not sharqiyya or gharbiyya, not from the east or the west. It's in the middle. Whenever you have the middle, look, the sun when it comes, you get full benefit of the sun if you are in the middle. If you are in the far east or the far west, then you get partial. In another meaning, the far east is the khawf, the far west is the raja. The middle is in between. The Christianity went into what? Raja, hope. Everything is khalas, is safe. The Judaism, they got their khawf, every restriction, while Rasulullah sallam brought in the middle, khawf and raja, both of them, fear and hope, and they say in the beginning of your life you should have a lot of fear, a little bit of hope. The more you are grown in your life, you get more hope, less fear. When you die on full hope. You have a good opinion of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that Allah brought you to honor you, to save you. And whatever you think of Allah, Allah will give you. And this, they say, is two wings. You fly to Allah by the wings of fear and the wings of hope. Now, so Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam described for us this when he's saying here. He said, it's been mentioned in several narrations, maybe it's a weak narration, but it said that when Allah created, the first thing He created the light of Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. When He created Sayyidina Adam, He put His light in his back, in the aslab. So he was Sayyidina Adam in Jannah, and in Jannah reality will show. So the light is shown. So all the angels were running where? Behind Sayyidina Adam. Sayyidina Adam complained, Ya Allah, what's going on? I just look back, all the angels behind me. What's happening? He said, this light of my Habib. He said, can you put it in front of me so I can see the angel at least? I don't do like this. He put it in his jabeen, forehead. So the angel came, and they will see all the angels looking at Sayyidina Adam because of the light of Rasulullah. He said, Ya Allah, can you make it in a place that I can see it? And he said, put it in this finger, al-Musabbiha. He put it here, so he will see the light, the angel will see the light. When Sayyidina Adam ate from the tree, and it was time to come to earth, Allah put back the light back in his back, and that light went through a man to reach Sayyidina Ibrahim. That's the Shajara al-Mubarakah. That's what he's saying. He said min Shajara Mubarakah and min Nur Ibrahim. So he went through Sayyidina Ibrahim. Sayyidina Ibrahim, he was the best example of depending on Allah. The best example of not asking anybody except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Nothing. He was thrown in the fire. Sayyidina Jibreel came to him, did anything? He said, no. He said, from Allah. He said, his knowledge of me is enough for me. I don't need even to ask. So that's Sayyidina Ibrahim. Sayyidina Ibrahim is, all his life is like this. Full surrender. Slaughter your son. Labbaik. Do this. Put your family in a desert. Leave them alone. Labbaik. Full tawakkul. So he said here, Qadi Iyad said, that يوقد من شجرة المباركة, when the light is being ignited from a blessed tree, from the light of Sayyidina Ibrahim. And Allah gave the example of this Shajara Mubarakah. Why is Shajara Mubarakah, this Zaytuna, the olive tree? They say it had a fruit, and the fruit is beneficial. And it has idam, that means a food. You can be enough, you eat olive oil, is enough for you for nutrition. It can be also a cure, a medicine. And it can be also a dihan, that means you rub your body. That's what Rasulullah said, كُلُوا الزَّيْتَ وَالدَّهِنُوا بِهِ. Eat olive oil and rub yourself with it. It's very good. So that's why he said Shajara Mubarakah. It's all benefit from it. And he said, يَكَادُ زَيْتُهَا يُضِيء. It's without even putting fire in it, without igniting it, it by itself, it gives light. And this is the Nabuwah of Rasulullah. Before he starts speaking, his light is enough. There is a lot of example in the seerah of Sayyidina Muhammad that one person, he came and looked at his face, he said, your face is not a face of a liar. Your face is a face of truth. And a lot of examples that they, by just looking by Rasulullah at Rasulullah, they immediately believe in him without even saying anything. Sallallahu alayhi wasallam. And there is a lot of meaning like this. نعم. وقد سماه الله تعالى في القرآن في غير هذا الموضع نورا وسراجا منيرا، فقال تعالى قد جاءكم من الله نور وكتاب مبين. وقال تعالى إنا أرسلناك شاهدا ومبشرا ونذيرا وداعين إلى الله بإذنه وسراجا منيرا. بسم الله.
A lot more is said about the ayah, and Allah knows best what it means elsewhere in the Quran. Allah calls His Prophet a light and a light-giving lamp. He says, a light and a clear book have come to you from Allah. Allah also says, we sent you as a witness, a bringer of good news and a warner, one who calls to Allah with His permission and a light-giving lamp. This is why He says...
We stop here. No. So, subhanallah, Allah in the Quran said, He described Rasulullah ﷺ by nur and the source of light, siraj and munira, source of light. Where it said in the Quran, قَدْ جَاءَكُمْ مِنَ اللَّهِ, Allah send you two things, nur wa kitab mubin, a light and a book. We know the book is the Quran and the light is Rasulullah ﷺ. In another ayah said, we send you shahid, a witness, wa mubashir, give good news, wa nadhir, warn people, wa da'in Allah, calling Allah bi'idhni, by His permission, wa sirajan munira, a source of light for people. Wallahi, without Rasulullah ﷺ, we cannot be the human being. We cannot be. Allah created us to worship Him, and nobody knows how to worship Allah except through Rasulullah ﷺ. He's the source of making Allah pleased with us. There is no way we can know how to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And He made it in the easiest way to gain the rida of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. At the same time, there is all this shahawat and the dunya, but it's a test. Some people, inshallah, all of us will pass the test. Allah will be pleased with us. And some people will fail the test. We ask Allah that protect all the Muslims by Rasulullah, by the barakah of Rasulullah, inshallah. يجعل الرحمة كل على أمة الحبيب الأعظم صلى الله عليه وسلم. نعم. So, and when He said إنا أرسلناك شاهدا ومبشرا ونذيرا. SubhanAllah, we had an amazing story happened almost 20 years ago. I was in a camp with a group of people talking about Sirah. I was a student. Sheikh Hamza Yusuf was one of the teachers. Sheikh Muhammad Sharif was another one. And another 2-3 people. And it happened that it was coming from Damascus, Syria, was a book of Salawat al-Rasul called Sa'adatul Darain bi-Salah ala Sayyid al-Kawnayn. The happiness of both this dunya and the akhirah by the Salawat al-Rasul. And it's like more than 1,000 pages, just Salawat al-Rasul describing the value of it and so on, and different Salawat. So I was reading through 2-3 months, and I reached like almost probably 300 pages of something. And Sheikh Hamza was outside. I was in a room, and there was 2 people with me. One of them is Dr. Mubashir, who I met him after 20 years. I met him 2 days ago, subhanAllah. I was really happy to see him. Anyway, so Sheikh Hamza came, and I told him, Sheikh Hamza, look at this. I was really happy to hear. And it said, the proof that Rasulullah is His light and who is with us, as Allah said in the Quran, وَعْلَمُوا أَنَّ فِيكُمْ رَسُولًا, know that Rasulullah is amongst you, is when Allah said, إِنَّا أَرْسَلْنَاكُمْ شَاهِدًا, we will send you as a witness. So shahid, he should witness things, so give testament. And Shaykh Hamza was like freezed. What happened, he told me, outside a man came to him, he said, they say that Rasulullah is amongst us. What do you say? He said, I believe in it, but I never found a proof. I never found a proof. The first word he read, and the proof is, and it was this verse. And then immediately we said, we start reading the Salawat al-Idrisiyah. When we start reading it, and then he read again in the book, and it was said that the Imam al-Idrisi was one of the people who used to see Rasulullah in awake state. So it's like the same thought, and Sheikh Hamza was like, and then the guy who was Dr. Mubashir, he said, we are in a hudur of Rasulullah, let's make dua. We finished and we were all very excited. And then Sheikh Muhammad Sharif came. And he said, we were talking about the death of Rasulullah and everybody were crying. And Sheikh Hamza said, he said, you were witnessing the absence of Rasulullah, the maut, and we were witnessing the hudur of Rasulullah. And that was experience. It's amazing. That it does remind me this when he said, Inna arsalnaka shahidan. So we send you as a witness. As a witness, you should see things. That's why Allah said in the Quran, وَاعْلَمُوا أَنَّ فِيكُمْ Rasulullah. Now, so and he described him as Siraja Munira, as a source of light. Munir. It's a lamp that gives light. And then ومن هذا قوله تعالى ألم نشرح لك صدرك ووضعنا عنك وزرك الذي أنقض ظهرك ورفعنا لك ذكرك فإن مع العسر يسرا إن مع العسر يسرا فإذا فرغت فانصب وإلى ربك فارغب. قال شرح وسع والمراد بالصدر هنا القلب. قال ابن عباس شرحه بالإسلام وقال سهل بنور الرسالة وقال الحسن ملأه حكما وعلما وقيل معناه أنا مطهر قلبك حتى لا يؤذيك الوسواس ووضعنا عنك وزرك الذي أنقض ظهرك قيل ما سلف من ذنبك يعني قبل النبوة وقيل أراد ثقل أيام الجاهلية وقيل أراد ما أثقل ظهره من الرسالة حتى بلغها حكاه الماوردي والسلمي وقيل عصمناك ولولا ذلك لأثقلت ذنوب ظهرك حكاه السمرقندي ورفعنا لك ذكرك. We stop here, read inshallah. Let's get this section first.
This is why he says, did we not expand your breast for you? To expand sharaha is to make wide, vast. By the word breast, Allah has, here it means the heart. Ibn Abbas said, he expanded with the light of Islam. Sahal al-Tastari said, with the light of the message. Hassan al-Basri said, he filled it with the judgment and knowledge. It is also said that it means, did we not purify your heart so that it does not allow any whispering from shaitan? The surah continues, and we lifted your burden from you. The burden you weighed down your back. It is said that this means his wrong actions from the time before he was the Prophet ﷺ. It is said that it means the burden of the days of Jahiliyyah. It is said that the meaning of it is this message was weighed down the back before he conveyed it.
Ya Habibi sallallahu
This is the opinion of al-Mahradi and al-Salami. It is also said that it means we protected you, and if it had not been for that, wrong actions would have burdened your back. And this is what al-Samarkandi relates.
Yeah, stop here, inshallah. So now we come to another high level of a way that Allah described His Habib sallallahu alaihi wasallam to His Ummah. Allah described for us what's the meaning of the one that Allah loves. And He's saying here, أَلَمْ نَشْرَحْ لَكَ صَدْرَكَ. Allah is telling him, we widen your chest. نشرح. We widen the chest. We make it vast. We make it like not like any other human being. Now, the meaning of nashrah or sharah, there are several meanings. I'll go through the meanings and then I'll let you imagine what you get from this one word. Nashrah laka sadrak. The first meaning here is the sadr is mean the heart. Okay, that means the heart. Allah made it widen, so all the mercy in it, all the good things that comes from it. So Abdullah ibn Abbas said he widened it to be the base of Islam. So he widened it for Islam. That's one opinion. Sayyidina Sahl al-Tustari, he said, is the light of the message, the nur al-risala. widen. Sayyidina al-Hasan al-Basri, he said that he will widen it, he will fill it with wisdom and knowledge. With wisdom and knowledge. In another meaning said, we made a sharah of your heart in order none of the waswas can be shaitan or insan, the one that whisper for you, that try to cut you from being present with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Human being can come and argue things that will take you away from being like somebody like Rasulullah. He's in a hadra with Allah. He's a hadra ayan. He's like witnessing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But if waswas come, then that waswas will flip his heart and try to take him right or left. But when Allah widened this sharah al-sadr, that will not affect him. That's another meaning of said that. So we نطهر قلبك حتى لا يؤذيك الوسواس. So you have to imagine something. When you see somebody who is really good with people, even people if they are like not visiting him, they don't care about him, he cares about them. You say this, he has mashallah, his sadru wasi'. Okay, but if you see somebody who's been harming him and he's doing good to them, you see this is more. Then Allah made sharah of the heart of Rasulullah sallallahu that his enemy, the one that killed his wife, his uncle, he took his house, threw him out of his city, killed his sahaba, blood her. I mean, all the bad things that they said he's a liar, they said he is a crazy, and so on and so on and so on. And then he made dua. He had the option. The angel of mountains, he said, I'm going to crush them for you. Just tell me yes. He said, no. I want from their children or their children's children, I want from them somebody with rahmah. Somebody with La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah. So for the enemy, the worst enemy, his sadr is sharh. Now what do you expect for his ummah? For his ummah. Wallahi, think about it. I'm going to think about myself. If I see my son or my daughter, none of us, inshallah. If I see somebody sees his son or his daughter doing something bad, you can tolerate that one time, twice, 3 times, 4 times, and then say, I cannot handle it anymore. Just leave me alone. He's going in the wrong way. Unless somebody with a sadr that he's a source of good. Rasulullah ﷺ said, Shafa'ati li ahl kaba'ir min ummati. My shafa'ah of the people with the wrong action, big wrong action. He said, Ni'ma al-abdu ana li shirari ummati. What a ni'mah, what a blessing I am for evil people of my ummah. Why? Because of alam nashrah laka sadrak. Wallahi, each time we read this, the happiness should go in the heart that Allah made alam nashrah. Allah widened his chest. That who is benefiting from this? It's us. It's me and you. Especially toward the end of time. Because we're far from Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And all the mughrayat al-dunya, all the dunya is coming for us, want to eat us. Left and right. By this, we are the beneficial from alam nashrah laka sadrak. The Sahaba were, radiallahu anhum, Allah said, Allah radiya anhu, Allah pleased with them. But us, what do we need? We need alam nashrah laka sadrak. And then we move to the second one, which is وَوَضَعْنَا عَنْكَ وِزْرَكَ الَّذِي أَنْقَضَ ظَهْرَكَ. Several meaning here they said. He said here, مَا سَلَفَ مِنْ ذَنْبِكَ, what is the sin that you had before, but that's the meaning is not this, is the meaning is whatever shortcoming, or they say hafwa or ghafla, that mean you were like asleep or you were not even thinking of, before nubuwah, this law, like you're in a ghafla. They say all of this, Allah put it away from Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But reality, Rasulullah sallallahu every day he's in an increase. Every day he's an increase. Okay? And he will do istighfar when he look on the degree he just left. And that's not every day, it's every second actually. He see himself is. So when he look at his status of yesterday, say astaghfirullah. Why? Because Allah elevated him higher and higher. And this is happening until now. Every day Rasulullah sallallahu is an increase. And every step he's increased, we are the beneficial. We are benefiting from this. So when here it said وَوَضَعْنَا عَنْكَ وِزْرَكَ الَّذِي أَنْقَضَ ظَهْرَكَ, one of the amazing meaning, or two meanings, one is the load on your back, which is the risala and the nubuwah, Allah took care of that. The second meaning is his wizr is the sins of his ummah. The sins of his ummah. So if by this he said, وَوَضَعْنَا عَنْكَ وِزْرَكَ, we took care of the sins of your ummah because of you. Just الَّذِي أَنْقَضَ ظَهْرَكَ, because that is heavy on you. Because he's harisun alayna. He's have anat. He will be like, our action be presented to him. And when he sees somebody like me, he's like, action is not good, he will be sad with that. That will be heavy on him. But Allah said, we took this away from you, that's the heavy load on your back, just to relieve you. And that's how? By the shafa'ah. None of the prophets, they have this. It's only Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And who is beneficial from this? Us. Definitely the shafa'ah will get all the creation on Day of Judgment. All. Including Sayyidina Ibrahim. He needed this. Because Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, في يوم يرغب فيه الخلاق جميعا حتى إبراهيم. All creation will seek me, including Ibrahim. But in the real shafa'ah, the shafa'ah al-khassa is us, the sinner. Now, there is shafa'ah higher for the lovers of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. There is shafa'ah inside the Jannah to put you higher and higher and higher for the people who are the sabiqun and the lovers and so on. So all of us. But the minimum is the awzar, which is it said وَوَضَعْنَا أَنْتَ وِزْرَكَ, which is the sins of your nation, of your ummah. Because Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam have no sins. Now, and he said here the one of the explanation on this text, he said وَقِيلَ ذُنُوبُ أُمَّتِهِ, that means it's the sin of his ummah. He is our guardians in the dunya and the akhirah. And Allah told in the Quran, وَاسْتَغْفِرْ لِذَنْبِكَ وَلِلْمُؤْمِنِينَ وَالْمُؤْمِنَاتِ, make istighfar for your sin, for the believer, women, men and women. And then Rasulullah immediately he did what Allah ordered him to istighfar. He started doing istighfar, and then immediately Allah revealed what? لِيَغْفِرَ اللَّهُ لَكَ اللَّهُ مَا تَقَدَّمَ مِنْ ذَنْبِكَ وَمَا تَأَخَّرَ. Allah forgives you all the sins before and after. So don't worry about that. So immediately came after that. And that's what Sayyidina Isa said. He said, اذهبوا إلى محمد عبد غفر ما تقدم له من ذنبه وما تأخر. He said, Sayyidina Isa on Day of Judgment said, go to Muhammad Ahmad. He's a slave that Allah forgives everything for him. And that forgiveness passed to his ummah. That's why he said, أمتي أمة مرحومة جعل عذابها في الدنيا. My nation is nation of mercy. Their punishment is in this dunya. And the highest punishment, that adab, is the death of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Ya Habibi, Ya Habibi, Ya Habibi, Wallahi Ya Habibi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Now, we'll stop here inshallah. We'll go some, that's fine. So question, answer, we'll go through a little bit more. 10 minutes? You need question? We'll go 10 minutes and then question. Okay. Yeah, that's good. We finish this portion inshallah. نعم. وقيل عصمناك ولولا ذلك لأثقلت الذنوب ظهرك, حكاه Samarqandi. He said, the other meaning he said, Samarqandi said, because we protect you from sins, otherwise the sins will be heavy on your back. That means, وَوَضَعْنَا عَنْكَ وِزْرَاكَ, we protect you from the sins in order not to have load on you. That's another meaning. That's Imam Samarqandi said. Because the first meaning he said, because of your sin, Allah forgive you. But here he said, no, we gave you isma. All the prophets have isma. That means they're protected, they cannot do any sins, before or after. Okay, so that's another meaning that Imam Samarqandi. ورفعنا لك ذكرك. قال يحيى بن آدم بالنبوة، وقيل إذا ذكرت معي قول لا إله إلا الله محمد رسول الله، وقيل في الأذان. وقال الفقيه القاضي أبو الفضل رحمه الله تعالى هذا تقرير من الله جل اسمه لنبيه عليه الصلاة والسلام على عظيم نعمه لديه وشريف منزلته عنده وكرامته عليه بأن شرح قلبه للإيمان والهداية ووسعه لوعي العلم وحمل الحكمة ورفع عنه ثقل الأمور الجاهلة عليه وبغضه لسيرها وما كانت عليه بظهور دينه على الدين كله وحط عنه عهدة أعباء الرسالة والنبوة لتبليغ للناس ما نزل إليهم وتنويه بعظيم مكانه وجليل رتبته ورفعه ذكره وقرانه مع اسمه. قال قتادة رفع الله ذكره في الدنيا والآخرة فليس خطيب ولا متشهد ولا صاحب صلاة إلا يقول أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأن محمد رسول الله. وروى أبو سعيد الخدري أن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال أتاني جبريل عليه السلام قال إن ربي وربك يقول تدري كيف رفعت ذكرك قلت الله ورسوله أعلم قال إذا ذكرت معي. قال ابن عطاء جعلت تمام الإيمان بذكري معك. وقال أيضا جعلتك ذكرا من ذكري فمن ذكرك ذكرني. وقال جعفر بن محمد الصادق لا يذكر أحد برسالة إلا ذكرني بالربوبية وشار بعض في ذلك إلى الشفاعة. نعم بسم الله.
The surah contains, did we not exalt your fame? Yah ibn Adam said that this meant by being given prophethood, it is said that the meaning of these words is explained in the Hadith Qudsi, where I am mentioned, you are mentioned with me in this statement. There is no God but Allah, and Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is the messenger of Allah. It is also said the same is done by means of the Adhan. What is clear is that by these words Allah confirms the immensity of the favor He has bestowed on His Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, his noble station with him and the honor in which He holds him. He expanded His breadth to belief and guidance and made it wide enough to contain knowledge and bear His wisdom. He removed from him the burdens of all things of the Jahiliyyah and made their pursuance hateful to him by giving victory to his deen over all other deens. He lightened for him and weighty responsibility of the message and the prophethood so he could convey to people what was sent down to him. He re-emphasized his sublime position, majestic rank, high renown of his Prophet ﷺ and has joined his name to his own name. Qatada said, Allah exalted his fame in this world and the next. There is no speaker, witness, nor anyone doing the prayer who fails to say, there is no God but Allah and Muhammad is his messenger, and the messenger of Allah. Abu Sa'id al-Khudri related that the Prophet ﷺ said, Jibril, peace be upon him, came to me and said, my Lord, and your Lord says, do you know how I have exalted your fame? I said, Allah and his messenger knows best. He said, when I am mentioned, you are mentioned with me. Ibn Atta quoted a Hadith Qudsi saying, I completed belief with your being mentioned with me. And another one which says, I have mentioned your mention, I have made your mention part of my mention. So whoever mentions me mentions you. Jafar ibn Muhammad al-Sadiq said, no one mentions you as a messenger, but that he mentions me as the Lord. Some of the people of knowledge said, such as al-Muradi, suggested that the station of intercession was being referred to by this.
No, Mustafa, inshallah. I don't think we'll be able to cover all of this here, but we'll go with the beginning of it, which is the meaning of وَرَفَعْنَا لَكَ ذِكْرَكَ. This is something, if we have a joy in it day and night, it's not enough. Allah said in the Quran, by the fadl of Allah and the rahmah, that's what you should have joy in. فَلْيَفْرَحُوا. The fadl is Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and the rahmah is Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That means if you want to have farah in your life, if you have a joy in your life, celebrate in your life, celebrate of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Now, here there are several meanings. وَرَفَعْنَا لَكَ ذِكْرَكَ. I will start with the meanings that is not mentioned here, and then go through the meanings that's here. I will start with what we are benefiting for us. Seriously. وَرَفَعْنَا لَكَ ذِكْرَكَ. Whoever is mentioning you is elevated with you. Whoever is making salawat on Rasulullah or love Rasulullah, then the hadith said, Al-mar'u man ahab. He will be joining the one who loves. So the elevation is happening to us when we mention Rasulullah actually. So, but here he said, there is 3 stages where Allah is telling him that we elevated you. There is at the stage of the nubuwah. The nubuwah, when they asked Rasulullah when you were a nabi, he said, وَآدَمُ بَيْنَ الرُّحْ وَالْجَسَدِ. Adam between soul and body. That means the body is there and the soul coming to fit the body. And that's called the nubuwah. Okay, when Rasulullah he was a prophet at that time. So at that time Allah elevated Rasulullah by amongst the angels. Because at that time the angels, they're the one who recognized the status of Rasulullah because he was a prophet at that time. So the first one is the nubuwah. The second one is the nubuwah wa risala. That means, so all of us, the ummah and other prophets and all other nations, knowing that who is Rasulullah sallallahu, and this is called وَرَفَعْنَا لَكَ ذِكْرَكَ. This is by when we say La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah. So this is both nubuwah and risala. And there is a third one which is before all of this, which is the nubuwah ruhaniyah, which is before the creation of Sayyidina Adam. It's amongst the souls of the prophets and the muqarrabeen of the angels, the closest angels to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They knew at that time that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, his soul is the highest. So Allah, before even created all Sayyidina Adam and all this human being and so on, his soul were recognized as the highest. And that's part of the وَرَفَعْنَا لَكَ ذِكْرَكَ. Now, Qadi Iyad, he said, as we said, now we'll not go through all this, I'll go through next time. But whenever Allah is telling him, whenever Allah is mentioned, you'll be mentioned. I know, but we have some questions if you want to, inshallah. Whenever I mention, you'll be mentioned. And this is will not, we need more than a long time to go through, inshallah. Ibn Ata'illah, he said something which is, some scholars, they criticize this. Because he said, جعلت تمام الإيمان بذكري معك, which is the opposite. He said, I'm going to translate this, but they said it shouldn't be like this, okay? But he said the complete iman is that Allah is saying that I'll be mentioned with you. It should be the other way around, right? But that's what he said here. But the translation, he already corrected. He didn't mention this. But as to have a truth in what we have to say the way it was said. Okay, and all the scholars they recognize this is what was said by Ahmad bin Muhammad bin Sahel bin Ata. Yeah, he died 309 Hijri. Anyway, so all of them is said, Allah made it wherever Allah is mentioned, you'll be mentioned. Now, can you imagine that in all creation, everywhere, Allah will be mentioned? If you go to Jannah, on all the bridges, on all the doors, on all the leaves of the trees and so on, there is La ilaha illallah. There's Allah. Rasulullah is there. Allah made it. Allah made it. Allah wanted that. He's saying, this is the one I love, and whenever my name is mentioned, he's mentioned. Khalas. It's not our business to say yes, no. Khalas. And if you mention him, then you'll be elevated with him. وَرَفَعْنَا لَكَ ذِكْرَكَ. The more you do salah on Rasulullah, وَرَفَعْنَا لَكَ ذِكْرَكَ. The more you love Rasulullah, وَرَفَعْنَا لَكَ ذِكْرَكَ. Now, if you wake up and you say, Ya Habib ya Rasulullah, وَرَفَعْنَا لَكَ ذِكْرَكَ. Before you sleep, you say, Ya Habib ya Rasulullah, وَرَفَعْنَا لَكَ ذِكْرَكَ. That's why our Shaykh, they said, just put next to your bed a book of seerah or burda or whatever it is of Salah of Rasulullah, just read 2 lines. Sleep on وَرَفَعْنَا لَكَ ذِكْرًا. Read something about Rasulullah, and that's it. That's it. See what's going to happen at night. Because the moment we sleep, we unlock our soul, we let it go. So if you put the fuel jet, which is the love of Rasulullah, and tell him, وَرَفَعْنَا لَكَ ذِكْرًا, okay, go and get me something. See what's going to happen. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. Yes, we have like 7 minutes. We'll go through some questions. If you have any questions or any comments or anything that you want to get more clarification on and so on. نعم. أهلا وسهلا سيدي.
You mentioned that all the Nabi that came before, they went before the Ummah went before
the Prophet, if they died before, yes, destroyed before.
For all the Ummah?
Most of the Ummah that we had, yes, Qawm Aad, Thamud, Fir'aun, and so all of them, there is part of them that they are the Ummah, but they denied the message. And then Khasif came on them, they destroyed.
So he's not.
No, yeah, he will be coming back. That's why. But all the other all of them, they've been destroyed. Like Sayyidina Nuh by the water, the flood, and so on. And most of them. No. And that's why if Allah took the Prophet before the Ummah, that's mercy for the Ummah. And this is our case, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wanted his Habib to be pleased. So he made the best, the last thing, Khatam al-Anbiya. Then he made his Ummah, us, all the previous nations will be exposed, we will not be exposed. We know everything happened to them. Yes. Nobody knows about what happened to us. Yes. We are sitter. On the day of judgment, Allah will come to one of one. He'll say, do you remember this sin? This sin is, yeah, Allah, yes. And they say, you will think that you're going to hellfire. And say, Allah will tell you, I covered you in this dunya, now I forgive you. I made sitter in you. I made it, nobody, you're not exposed in the dunya, now I forgive you. أغفرها لك اليوم لك. This is the mercy of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That's why he said, جعل عذاب أمتي في الدنيا. Their punishment is this dunya. That's why we get sick. Now we see all the Ummah is eating us. This is our punishment. That's it. And they say the highest of musibah is the death of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Ya Habibi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Now, any other question, comments? Come salam.
I wanted to clarify about, you mentioned the soul of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was before Sayyidina Adam alayhi salam was created. So I just wanted to understand the sequence that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam's soul was the first of the creation.
Yes, there is a Sahih hadith. There is saying of Arifin and the scholars and so on, but there is Sahih hadith. The Sahaba asked Rasulullah sallam, what time you were prophet? He said, when you were prophet? He said, كنت نبيا وآدم بين الروح والجسد. I was a prophet, not a soul, a prophet. That I have a Nabi. And Adam were between the body and the soul. Now how, I don't know how, but this is clear. And most of the scholars, they are of the opinion that the first thing Allah created in the whole creation is the light of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. From his light, all the creation came. So this is called the beginning of everything, okay? And from his soul, all the good things that came to the prophets and so on. And that's the hadith said that Allah is al-Mu'ti wa al-Qasim. Allah is the giver and I am the divider. Through him, it's like, you will think it's like a filter that passes things to other. That's what the way Allah made it. But the Sahih hadith that there is no doubt in it, which is that he was a prophet while Adam between the body and the soul. Definitely we will not really understand the depth of this meaning until after death. That time when they will, because Allah said, وَكَشَفْنَا عَنْكَ غِطَاءَكَ فَبَصَرَكَ الْيَوْمَ حَدِيدٌ. We unveiled the cover, took the cover away from you, so your sight is iron. You see the things at the reality, and then we know the reality of things. Wallahu a'lam. No.
So when did Jibril come to him and ask and
What type of mercy you get?
has any of the mercy touched you? Yes, I have fear about what happened to me.
Yeah.
What time?
I don't know where is that. Maybe if my shortcoming, maybe the scholars they know, since I'm a student, so I don't know. But maybe if we search, I don't know if it's mentioned or not. Allahu alam. But if you go to the Sirah, it might be mentioned. Okay? But it's known that when that Sayyidina Jibreel came to him and he told him that you are the mercy for the whole creation, Rahma lil Alameen. Okay, it's the Quran when read the verse came. So if we follow the verse when it came, it's mentioned where, the timing, then we know that's after it. Because he told him what's the mercy you get from me as a mercy. Now, Wallahu alam. Ya Habibi, Ya Rasulullah, Ya Habibi, Ya Habibi. Alhamdulillah, as I said, subhanAllah, I was in Medina, I did Umrah, but Alhamdulillah, I remembered in several times, several places, the masjid here and the people here working here and the people I made dua, general and in specific for names. So we ask Allah that to accept that, inshallah. It was the muwajaha to Rasulullah sallam, and then I gave your salam, because when I left from here I got a lot of people that gave salam, so I gave a specific salam and general salam to Rasulullah sallam. Let's read Fatiha to Rasulullah sallam. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alamin ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Amin. صلى الله عليه وسلم محمد وعلى آله. جزاكم الله خير.